It's also insane to think about that Cameron Boozer might not even be the best player in this recruiting class. Branden, I know you're high on someone who's pretty much consensus number one right now.
Yeah, AJ Dybantsa, he's a player I know Cameron and I are lucky enough to see in person. The one thing I will always remember seeing Dybantsa play, he was coming down the lane full speed. Some kid on the other end had just tried to dunk and miss, and he was like, all right, I'm going to show you what I got. He comes down the lane. Mind you, there were two kids under the rim. He goes up. It went in and out. The crowd, I don't think there were that many people there, but I just remember that was the loudest that the gym was, I think, the whole day I was there. And that's something I'll never forget because the size and the speed that he has, plus even watching his other games on TV and stuff, he has that takeover gene, you know? Mm-hmm. Like he can, whether it's shooting step backs, getting to the rim at will. And I think, you know, with a lot of kids who just attack the rim, it's like, okay, at the next level, he might not be able to do that. But Dybantsa genuinely has the skill set and the size where I think it will translate to the next level. He's just he's got a freak build, and he has that scorer's mentality, which I think you love to see.
Yeah, he definitely has, like, that it factor, that, like, the ability to just take over a game. Like, even he could not be playing well. Like, there was a game in the EYBL where it's not like he was playing bad, but he just wasn't, like, necessarily all the way foot on the gas. Mm-hmm. And he came back and he scored big points down the stretch, and he hit a game winner. And then you had the game at Geico where they lost to Link Academy, but, like, he wasn't shooting the ball well for the majority of the game, but he just stepped on the gas and willed the team back to force overtime. So it's like he's just one of those players that you know when you watch him at some point of the game, he's going to click it on, and he's just special. Like in all aspects, he's just a special player.
Yeah, this 2025 recruiting class, potential next NBA draft class as well, is definitely pretty stacked. Cam, I know you have a couple other guys as well you're looking at outside of Dybantsa and the Boozer twins, though.
Yeah, some guys I really like. I really like Meleek Thomas's game. He has like a very unorthodox handle, shot, like just a weird rhythm to his game. Like one of those people is like a nightmare to guard because you really don't know what he's going to do next. But his shot making ability and like he has real explosive, like kind of what you said about Dybantsa when you were there. He dunked on someone or he tried to dunk on someone. Meleek Thomas actually made his dunk, and it sent the gym up. Like, he absolute body bag a kid on the fast break. And I think I'm on, like, the back of the video, just, like, mouth on the floor. Like, what is going on?
You're going to have to find that clip.
But, so, like, he's one of the kids I really like in the class. Other guys I like, Nate Ament, I think. Yeah, Nate Ament. He's somebody who's, like, Dybantsa's really, really good. But, like, Nate Ament is someone who's kind of being overshadowed, I think, by Dybantsa a little bit. But, like, he's someone that I think at, like, 6'9", who can really shoot it. I think the only thing he's missing to not be, like, in that number one player conversation is the handle. Necessarily, it's not super advanced yet, but he's someone I really like. Other guys I like, Michael Brown Jr., Jasper Johnson, Kingston Fleming. Like, these are guards that are really good. Acadian Lewis, Braden Burries. But a guy that's actually like a threat to reclassify to that class is Mika Murnin. He played with Brad Bill Elite over the summer. And he's like a big that can dribble, can really shoot the ball, and like someone who just kind of exploded onto the scene. And I always like, those guys always really interest me, guys who just like have one amazing summer and all of a sudden, like, I think he jumped from, I don't even know if he was ranked all the way into like the top 5. So he's a kid I really like.
I know one of the guys you pointed out though, Braden Burries. I think he rose to 9 in this class, but I want to give him his respect because I know at EYBL, everybody was at his game, but not for him. They were there to see either LeBron or Bryce James. But I remember he was playing at the same time as the Boozer twins, so I was kind of just looking back and forth between their games. But he's a guy who can really ball, and I feel like he's, like 6'4", 6'3"?
He's like 6'4", probably without shoes. So, like, in shoes, he's like 6'5".
Yeah.
Like, he's really big. Like, he just looks like a bigger guard.
I know. I feel like he's just a really complete player. And I feel like, obviously, he's not going to get his respect because everybody's there to see Bryce, even though he is number 9. But I think he's a guy who'll be a great player at the next level. I think just being, I know I keep talking about it, but just being at the EYBL and seeing a lot of these guys in person, it kind of adds a new way of looking at scouting. But there is somebody who, when I went, wasn't playing because I think it was also the same time as the USA training.
Yeah, it was the
mini
USA
camp.
mini camps.
But I was really excited to see Darius Acuff, and obviously he wasn't there. But I think he's going to be next up in terms of great guards. Obviously he's near the top of the class, but he's also committed to Arkansas, which is going to be like the new Kentucky with Coach Cal being there now. And obviously he creates amazing guards. And now he's getting a top guard who knows what the ceiling is for Darius Acuff.
Yeah, it might be the top guard too. I mean, this 2025 recruiting class has so many of the same body type, just like super good wings, 6'7" to 6'9" with a handle. So someone like Darius Acuff could definitely come in and be that top guard and one of the top players in the next draft class. But it's so crazy to think about what type of like NBA player kids are coming to the league pretty soon. Like obviously we just had Bronny James get drafted. You've got the Boozer twins coming in next year. Kiyan Anthony is one of the top players in this class. Could see him team up with a guy like Sadiq White at Syracuse potentially. I think Syracuse is still in his top 3 for Kiyan Anthony. But then even like the next year after that, you've got Elijah Arenas, one of the top players in the class. So it's insane to think about all these famous names, kids coming in. Then you've got a guy like Bryson Tiller coming to the college basketball scene as well. Obviously, not related to Bryson Tiller, but that was something we were making a joke about earlier.
All of us that is better have the Bryson Tiller song.
Don't.
Clip that.
Crazy.
That. Nah, but somebody you brought up there was Kiyan Anthony. What do you like about his game so far?
I feel like he's just super smooth. Like on the perimeter, he just seems like polished. There's a lot of guys that come in as like a taller wing in high school, and you could tell the jumper is just not their game. They just do it because they're settling. But I feel like Kiyan Anthony, he's kind of similar to Carmelo. Like when he's on the perimeter, that jump shot is just smooth. It looks natural. And if he comes in and brings Syracuse back, for example, if he does end up choosing that, that would be pretty cool to see, because since Carmelo Anthony at Syracuse, they really have not reached that peak since the early 2000s. They've had a couple of teams that were solid and tournament teams, but for someone like Kiyan Anthony to go back to Syracuse potentially and then bring them all the way back would be just poetic and insane to watch. So we'll see if he picks them.
Yeah, Kiyan was one of the kids I really liked when I got to see him play in person. Like, he's someone who just has, like, that confidence that really, like, no shot is really a bad shot in his brain. Like, I feel like he's just, like, very score-first minded, but he has the ability to play make, and he competes on the defensive end, so, like, it's kind of okay as long as he's making shots. And for the majority of the event, he made shots. He looked like the best player on the court in some matchups where guys were definitely ranked higher than him. So I expect him to rise up the class as the year keeps going. He's just someone that I think just has, like, he just is a scorer. Like, you can just tell he's a scorer at all levels.
So what do you think is the reason why people still have him so low? Because I feel like there's been a lot of people who think, I've seen people who think he could be a top 20 player, but obviously that's not the case right now, and a lot of outlets have him still kind of hovering around, I believe, that 30, 40 area.
I think it's like, personally, when I watched him, he had a really good weekend. I'm pretty sure that weekend, like, all the games I saw, he kind of played good. His team won a bunch of games, and the games they lost, he was kind of carrying the load for his team. I think it's kind of like the reverse Bronny effect in a way. It's like he's not necessarily getting the benefits from being Carmelo's son. I think he's more so kind of been, like, skeptical. Like, people are more skeptical of it, and they've been a little harsher on him, I think, than necessary. I don't think it has much to do with his game, other than sometimes he is a little inconsistent. Like, he can play really well in one setting and then kind of just disappear in certain settings. But I think if he's able to play like he did in the EYB at the session I saw him play at, where he's making shots from deep three, catch and shoot threes, defending, getting steals, and just like being a leader of his team. Like he was one of the more vocal players I seen that weekend. Like I think if he's able to continue that he should be ranked higher. I really don't know why outlets don't have him. I think he's for sure a top 20 player. I think he's pushing top 15 if he can just be more consistent.
Yeah.